What's up, Internet? My name is Michael Cook, and this is Blue Giant Media. We're here to help you find, learn, and play the games that you love. Today, we're going to open up, set up, and play through Lotus by Jordan and Mandy Goddard, published by Renegade Game Studios. I want you to get a feel for how long it actually takes to set this game up, as well as how to set it up, and how to play through this game so you can get a feel for whether it's something that you might like to buy, or maybe you just checked it out from a library or you're at a game cafe and you want to just jump right in as quick as possible so you can kind of walk through this with me in real time. Either way, let's ready, set, play. Alright, so Lotus is a card game in which the players are kind of constructing flowers in an effort to score more points by controlling those flowers or completing those flowers. So to start things off, you're going to go ahead and take things out of the box, and I will be setting this game up for 2 players because that is what I normally use, how many players I usually play with. So let's take everything out of the box, set this aside, and as I said, I will be setting this up in real time because my goal is for you to have a feel of how long it actually takes to set up these games. So I'm going to grab blue for me and yellow for you. We'll go ahead and separate these decks out. And as you can see, there's different numbers of cards that I've kind of grouped together, and that's because you use a different amount of cards based off of the number of players in the game. So okay. So let's make sure those are all separated out. We'll take these tokens. There are 1 of each color for 3 different tokens, and these are all special abilities that you can earn throughout the game. They give you special powers. So you will take your matching colored pieces. So here I have these dragonflies, and let's go ahead and, I say, we'll make you yellow. That's right. So the yellow has these butterflies, and we're going to take the silver dragonfly and butterfly, and we're going to set them aside. Those are something that we can earn through the course of the game with these special power tokens. And we'll set the rest of these aside. We can dump out these point tokens and set them over here. And then, so it says in the rules that in a 2-player game you're going to be using the full deck of cards. In a 3-player game, you're going to remove, you see that the Petal cards have different numbers in the corners. So here this has a 7, there's a 6. So in a 3-player game, you're going to remove 1 of each number, 3 through 7. And in a 4-player game, you're going to remove 2 of each number, 3 through 7. Okay, so we will set this in the middle. So we'll shuffle the gray because it's kind of a neutral deck that you can draw from. One, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 that will be drawn out. And then we will shuffle each of these decks for each one of us. So the display in the middle of the table will be face up with 4 cards face up. Your individual hand is going to be kept secret, but for the sake of this walkthrough, playthrough, I will place the cards face up just so you can kind of see what the decision-making process is, and so you can follow along, get a better feel for how the rules actually function. All right. So we'll go ahead and put this here, and we'll flip over 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4 for you. And I'm already realizing that I did not give enough space for this. So I'm going to move these over to the side. And I'm going to move the display over here. Okay, and then for my own individual deck, or hand, I will turn over 4. We will determine the start player. You can use whatever method you like to determine who the start player is. And then you are ready to play. Okay, so when you take your turn, you have, and this is explained very well on your rules reference card if you want to take a look at that. You can choose to take 2 actions, and at the end of your turn you will draw back up to 4 cards in your hand. And you can use the same action twice, and you're going to be choosing between 3 separate actions. You can choose to play up to 2 Petal cards of the same type, or you can choose to take any number of your Petal cards, put them at the bottom of your deck, and flip out replacements for those cards. So let's say you had played these 2, you could choose to put these 2 back under and put 2 more out. In effect, getting 4 whole new cards to choose from in your next round. But you wouldn't at that point. Let's say if you, later in the game there's a way to do things a little bit differently. But you would not, put these under and then refill 4. It's however many you decide to put at the bottom of the deck, and that's how many you bring back out. If it happens to be your second action, then you do refill your hand all the way. Then the third action that you can do is take one of your, and these are called guardians, and you can place them onto an unfinished flower, which is going to increase how much control you have of that flower, so that you have a better chance of getting a bonus when that flower is completed by whoever has the majority control of that flower will get a bonus. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I think we are ready to go already. It's a simple rule set. One of the nice things about this game is the artwork is so beautiful. The theme is it's very accessible. I have a 3- and 5-year-old daughter, and they both absolutely love this game. So and the rules are so simple that they can follow. I just ask them, hey, do you want to play some flowers, or do you want to put your buggy out onto a flower? And I tend to not give them the option to recycle unless I can see that there's a particular reason, although that is relatively rare. I think it's more of a strategic thing when you're trying to balance, and I'll get to that. But let's say for your first action you want to play 2 of the same type. So the number in the corner here, there's a 7. That means that there's going to be 7 flower petals to complete this flower. You play them out, and each flower petal has a kind of shaded area that shows where you're going to overlap, so that as you overlap around, it will complete the whole flower and look really nice. So whenever you play these flowers, you'll see either 1 or 2 symbols in the corners here. That tells you how much control you have. So right now you've got 2 out of the 7 cards that can play for this flower, and you have 2 guardian symbols on here. Later on, if for your second action, you could choose to put this on there. Now you have 3 guardian symbols towards getting control of this flower. Some cards do have 2 symbols, like this one right here. I can choose to add this one to that flower on my turn, and it will get me 2 guardian symbols for 1 card. So, maybe we decide that that is what you want to do. You want to get control. So you chose 2 actions. You put up to 2 petal cards of the same flower out, and then you chose to put your guardian on there. Then you would draw back up to 4. Now you can draw from here, or you can choose to draw one of these, or any number of these, from the side. The difference there is that these ones do not have any guardian symbols on them. So you can choose to get a flower petal that maybe you're particularly looking for, but you're not going to increase the amount of control that you have on that flower. So that's your turn. Let's say you just want to draw from your own deck. Keep it simple. So it comes to my turn, and I think, okay, well, I think I'm going to add to that flower too. And then I'm going to say, well, I want to start a whole nother flower because I've got 2 parts of this one right here. And now my turn is over. I did 2 separate actions. I played 2 of one flower, I played 2 of another, and I'm going to redraw back up to 4 cards in hand. Now it's going to come around to your turn, And here's where the decision making gets interesting, and here is where you might choose to do some of the deck cycling to get to petals that you're looking for. Because if you play this one flower petal here, then there will only be 2 more petals to finish this flower. But you do get a bonus for finishing a flower. So maybe you don't want to put that 1 here, because then I might get 2 and be the one to finish that flower. So there's a little bit of gamesmanship that happens there. So maybe instead of doing that, you decide that you want to, let's see, maybe you want to play this flower petal over here, and maybe you want to cycle these to the bottom of your deck in hopes of drawing some more of these and getting a chance to actually finish this flower next time. So you put those at the bottom, and then you will draw the 2 to replace them, and then since that was your second action, you will just draw your 4th card. And then it comes to me again. So now I have sort of the same decision. I can choose to add 1 here, but risk you possibly, because I can't see your hand, you might have 2 at this point, and if I play this, you might get a chance to finish that flower. So maybe instead of doing that, I decide that I want to play another one over here, although that does put it in the same boat. But I also know that I have a pretty good chance of having control of this flower at this point. And maybe for my second action, I decide to throw my dragonfly on there just to make sure that I get control of this flower. And to finish, I will draw another flower petal. All right, so then for your next turn, now you have exactly what I was a little bit worried about, and that is 2 of these flower petals to finish this flower. As you can see, when you finish a flower, it is very visually appealing, looks really nice on the table. Now you finished the flower, so you will get to collect these petals and put them in a victory pile, and at the end of the game, you will score 1 point for every petal that you have in your victory pile. So this will be worth 6 points to you for finishing this flower. However, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guardian symbols on this flower, and you have 1, 2, 3 guardian symbols on this flower. So I have the control of the flower. So while you are going to get these as a victory pile, I get to choose to either take 5 victory points or one of these special powers. So each one of them in this pile is the same. This kind of flower petal looking one is going to give what they call infinite growth. It is going to give you the ability to play 3 flower petals of the same type in one turn. So if I had 3 of this flower petal, I could play all 3 of them to finish a flower. So in this instance, while there's 3 remaining spaces, I may be able to play all 3 and finish that flower, which can be pretty powerful. This one right here allows you to hold 5 cards in your hand instead of the normal 4, which in tandem with this power could be really good. Then the last one is this one right here, which is called the Elder Guardian, and it is what it will allow you to take your special Silver Guardian bug, and this one counts as 2. So it makes it a little bit easier. At this point, it would be 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Increases your chance of gaining control of a flower. Now, I will say, the first time I played this game with my kids, I did not look at the scoring very much at all. I did not read all the way through the rulebook, and I'm ashamed to say that my 3- and 5-year-old beat me both at this game because I got all 3 of these and didn't actually finish most of the flowers. I focused on getting control of the flowers. Meanwhile, my youngest just wanted the points. Every single time she finished a flower or had control of the flower, she wanted the point chips. So she ended up winning, and my 5-year-old she ended up getting 3 of these as well, like I did, but she finished a lot more flowers and was able to collect more petals. The second time I played the game, I understood the strategy and soundly beat them both, but they still very much enjoyed the game. Now that was just your first action though, so for your second action, you could choose to, let's just say you want to start a new flower, because you also are worried about this. Oh, I did not actually choose my reward. Maybe at this point I say, okay, I want to take my infinite growth because I would like a chance to jump up and finish this flower. Okay, so you finished a flower and started a new flower. Now it comes to my turn. So at this point, now I have the ability to play 3 of these. So I'm going to choose to cycle my deck by putting 2 of these at the bottom in hopes of drawing a 3rd of this flower, which I did not. So now I can just play 1 of these out here. And at this point, so I refill my hand. That's exactly what I wanted. Now at this point, you might decide, you know I have the ability to jump up and finish this flower as it is. So maybe the benefit of waiting is no longer there for you. So maybe you decide that you want to focus on winning this flower in terms of majority, so you at least get some bonuses, whether it's points or a special power. So maybe you decide, all right, well, I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that I win this flower in terms of area control. So now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I have 3. So unless I were to play one that has 2 and put a guardian on there before I finish the flower, then there's not any way for me to, in that instance, there's not a way for me to beat you, but there would be a possibility for me to tie you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. So if I put 1 of these on there and a 2, then yeah, I would tie. And if you tie, then you both get to choose the benefit. But the person who finished the flower still is the one who collects the flower for their victory pile. Okay, so that was your first move. For your second move, maybe you say you're kind of in the same boat over here where you could possibly be in trouble, but you also know that maybe I've been saving up over here. So maybe you wait and decide to throw this on there to have a better chance of finishing that one. All right, when it comes to me, the no-brainer is to finish that. And I'm at this point unable to place, I'd have to place 2 of these on there because I only have petals with a single guardian symbol. So I'm just going to finish it. So I get to collect all 7 cards, which is 7 points for me. But you, my opponent, will get to choose what you want to do here. And maybe at this point you say, well, I like having control of the flowers. Maybe you want to get a guardian. Maybe you want to have more options to choose from, so you want 5 flowers, 5 petals in your hand. Maybe you like the fact that, or you envy the fact that I can play 3 petals of the same type. Or maybe you just say, you know what? I am just going to keep going for points. So let's just say that's what you did. And then it's going to come to my second action. So I can choose to go ahead and start another one of these flowers. And refill my hand. All right, then it's your turn. And maybe you decide, and I will say, the smaller flowers you want to win majority on. It's not as big a deal for you to miss out on finishing one of these, because the majority could earn you a 5-point thing or a victory or a special ability, whereas finishing the flower itself is just going to give you 3 cards for 3 points, since these ones only have 3 petals. So maybe you put this out there, and just to make sure that you get the bonus, you're going to go ahead and claim that. And then if you want, you could draw one of these, but I think you will just go ahead and keep, well, you get one anyway. All right, then when it comes to me, I will go ahead and start another new flower, so we got a lot more going on here. And at this point, I think you've got a pretty good feel for how the game plays. You will play until your deck, one of the decks runs out. And then, once one player's deck runs out, all other players, including that player, get to take 1 more turn. So that player who emptied their deck, it's quite possible that they're going to take a turn with fewer than their maximum amount of cards in their hand, but they still get to play those cards, because all the petals that are not finished at the end of the game, if you are the majority stakeholder in that flower, you get to take all of those cards for your victory point pile. So in this instance, there would be 2 and 2, so you would split them, 1 to me and 1 to you. and then you're going to total up your victory point tokens, 5 points for each of those, and the number of petals that you have would add 1 point per petal, and whoever has the most points is the winner. So these ones right here, they do not count for points. They only give you the ability, hopefully, to earn more points throughout the course of the game. So you got to kind of look at the opportunity cost there. And that is how you play Lotus. Now you should have a pretty good idea of how to set up and play through Lotus by Jordan and Mandy Goddard and published by Renegade Game Studios. If you have any other questions about rules or comments that maybe I missed something, please let me know in the comments section below so I can help you out. Or maybe you can help me out. If you are wanting me to make videos of other games, please let me know in the comments section as well so I can try and get on those as quick as I can. And if you're looking for an unboxing or a review of Lotus, please look for that in the description section. And you'll also find a link there to macronovagames.com, where you can buy this and many other great games. Until next time, I want to thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like what you see. And until next time, have a wonderful day.